Okay, hello everybody. I want to welcome you guys to Carpinteria State Beach. I am so happy you are here today to join me for Tide Pool Yoga. I am joined today by my assistant here, Angie. Angie, please step in for a moment. Say hi to everybody. Now go back. So we are super happy you're here. We're going to have a great time getting our blood flowing and also learning a little bit about ocean life as we exercise a little bit. But before we get started, I would like to begin by talking about the Junior Ranger program. So Junior Rangers are kid programs offered at a bunch of California state parks. And when you do a program, the more you do, the more chances you have to earn rewards like a pin or even a poster. And I would really like us to start by doing a Junior Ranger pledge together. So hold on one second. You can either repeat after me if you can't really read it, or you can just follow what I'm saying, okay? So I, say your name, like I, Heidi, promise to treat the earth and all living things with care and respect, be thoughtful about what I do and how it affects others, learn about the importance of nature and our heritage. So now that we have started that, we can talk about yoga. And as I discuss it, feel free to start warming up your body, right? Do some wiggles, jiggle around slightly. So yoga is a really great exercise that is both a physical exercise and a mental exercise too, like for your head, for your brain, right? It kind of helps realign like what you're focusing on and kind of step away from whatever else is going on during your life. And when we do yoga, there's a couple things I want us to keep in mind. So number one is sometimes poses can be a little tricky. So Angie, I'm going to have you quickly demonstrate a one-legged pose for us. So sometimes you might be asked to do a one-legged pose. But let's say that's a little bit hard. Maybe your balance you struggle with that, right? What can we do to help if a pose seems hard? Well, Angie can lower one foot to the ground, maybe just on her tiptoes to help balance a little bit more. Or maybe she puts both feet firmly on the ground. So you can do whatever kind of pose you think is necessary. Change it however you need to change it so that it works for you and what you can do. The next thing we want to keep in mind is breathing. And I'm going to have Angie demonstrate this again for us, if my phone would switch. There we go. So breathing is something that we do every day. In fact, you're probably doing it right now or we would have a problem, right? So for breathing, in yoga, it's really important that instead of forgetting that we're breathing, we are mindful about it. And mindful means we're paying attention to it. We're aware of if we're breathing in or if we're breathing out. And in yoga, we want to do really deep breaths in, deep breaths out. So I know we breathe all the time, but let's practice deep breathing for a moment, okay? So let's do 3 counts breathing in. 1, 2, 3. 3 counts breathing out. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Another thing to check before we start doing yoga is you might want to have a yoga mat or a towel with you. Angie here is getting out a yoga mat that she's going to lay out. If you don't have a yoga mat or a towel, that is fine as well. It's not absolutely necessary. It just helps a little bit. And you're going to want to Move your arms around, move your legs around, stretch up nice and tall. Is there a lamp right over you? You better check, right? Is there something on the floor? Is your cat right there? You're gonna trip over your cat? You wanna double check. And now, for the next part, I wanna kind of just explain our inspiration for the program today. So we're gonna be learning about tide pool animals. And if you've never been to the beach, you might not be aware that the water isn't at the same level every day. So here's a picture of our beach. And some days the water's far out here, other days it goes all the way up to the stairs, okay? And when it goes far out, these rocks here, they're exposed. So when that happens, we find all kinds of animals. We might find like a sea star or sometimes even a fish, right? So we are taking these animals and they have inspired our yoga practice today. So it's not going to be traditional yoga. We're going to kind of mix it up a little bit. It's going to be a variation of yoga. We're going to have some new poses along with some traditional poses. All while we're going to be learning about some of the animals here. So Angie, do you think you're ready? Do you think you're warmed up? I hope our participants at home are warmed up too. So get those last jitters out, everyone. Okay, Angie, prepare yourself. We're going to get into pose number 1. Pose number 1 is going to be the sea star stretch. For sea star stretch, you're going to want to spread your legs out like Angie's doing here. Spread your arms out nice and wide. Let's wiggle those fingers, Angie. Everyone at home, wiggle your fingers. Take a deep breath in. See if you can stretch a little bit more. Deep breath out. Now let's focus on your legs. Wiggle those toes. I see Angie wiggling her toes. She's being a great sport about it. Can you move each toe separately, Angie? Angie doesn't know if she can do that. Just for you guys to know, I asked her to do that because I can't do that when I try. It drives me crazy. So don't feel bad if you can't do it. But now we're all nice and stretched out, right? You feel good, Angie? You feel warmed up? Okay, great. The next one, well, actually, let me check your form really quick. Let's see if Angie's got this down right. Yeah, I'd say she's pretty close to being a sea star. So the next pose, Angie, is the seaweed sway. This one is really fun. You're going to stand up tall, put your arms up, but keep your knees bent a little bit. So you don't want to be super straight. And sway your whole body side to side as you breathe. So deep breath in, deep breath out. And here's your inspiration picture, Junior Rangers, right? So in the water, the seaweed grows really tall. It sways back and forth. And that's what Angie is demonstrating for us. Angie, let's say a storm comes by. Can you sway even faster? Very turbulent, right? And then as the storm passes, it slows back down. Angie's calming down. Good job, Angie. The next pose is simple, but it is very important. And that is the tunicate pose. So like Angie, bring your legs together. For good measure, let's stomp those legs on the ground, make sure we're firmly planted. Now, tunicates are interesting creatures. We normally have orange tunicates. They can't move, but they attach themselves to the bottom of seaweed. So that is why we want to make sure our feet are firmly planted. And you want to keep your palms together for tunicate pose. So this pose is not difficult, but we will be using it repeatedly throughout the program today. Next, we have ocean waves. Angie, can you start us off with ocean waves? You're going to put one foot in front, one foot in back. They're pointing at different different angles. And you're gonna bend one knee. And now what do we need to do next, Angie? We bend over. You can use your elbow to support you on your knee and stretch your arm. Try to see if you're making a straight line, as straight as you can with your whole body, right? But that's only half of ocean pose. What's the next part of ocean pose, Angie? We go back. So Angie's going to be demonstrating going back and forth, and I'm going to tell you why this is so important. So ocean pose, we go from one side to the other because that is what the waves do on the shoreline. They come in, they crash on the rocks, and then it goes back out. Thank you, Angie. Are you feeling a nice stretch in your sides? Yeah, so as you do ocean pose, remember to do your deep breaths in, deep breaths out to really get the most stretch out of it. Next, Angie, I'm gonna have you sit down on the floor. Everyone at home, sit down, cross your legs together, and we are gonna be learning the anemone pose. Let me show you a model of an anemone really quickly. So anemones have a little mouth in the center, and then they have these tentacles all around them. And these tentacles will grab onto food and take it to their mouth. And what's interesting about anemones is when they are underwater, they are completely open like this. But when the tide goes out and it's low water, they close back up again. They move inwards. So Angie is going to be demonstrating that for us today. You're going to want to match your movements with your breath. So can you show what we should be doing with our hands, Angie? Breathe in, breathe out. Let's do that a couple more times. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Awesome. Thank you, Angie. Next, we're going to stand up and we're going to get into a wide-legged squat. This is going to be the beginning of our crab pose. So put your arms up like Angie here. Make those right angles with our elbows. And move your shoulder blades together to really get that stretch in your chest area. We have several types of crabs here at Carpinteria State Beach. And if you get too close to one, they might snap at you. So do a couple snaps. Good job, Angie. So for a model to kind of see what we're emulating here. There we go. There's that crab pose. You make a really good crab, Angie. Okay, now relax from your pose, Angie. We're gonna go over the next one for you. This one, you guys, this one's my favorite, and that is the pelican balance. Okay, so you're gonna walk your legs together, make sure you're standing up nice and straight. This one starts out easy, right? We're in just a straight standing pose, but it gets complicated, so don't let it trick you. Put your hands together and slowly put your weight on one leg and lift up the other one. You can pick if you want to do your right or your left leg. It's up to you. Slowly raise it up. And if this is hard for you, you can do like how we mentioned at the beginning. Angie, can you demonstrate? Yeah, you can put maybe just your toes touch the ground. Or you can make it even harder if you want. Angie, can you like cross your leg over or something? So now Angie is just showing off, right? But she is showing us that you can cross your leg. Can you do the where you press it in? Yeah. You can also press it against your leg for a little bit of stability. And Angie and I both struggle with this, but if you really want to, you can close your eyes and try to hold your balance. I see Angie struggling. Oh, Angie! We knew that was going to happen because we were both trying it. And as soon as we close our eyes, it becomes much more important to focus on your inner balance, right? So maybe at home you try that, maybe you stumbled a little bit. Hey, that's awesome. That means we're pushing ourselves. Next one is gonna be easier than that, right? The next one is the hermit crab huddle. So Angie here is gonna get down onto her mat, gonna bend her knees, and just like that. So you're gonna be sitting like on top of your feet. And face the ground. So stretch out, face the ground, use your hands to stretch, stretch, stretch. This should feel really good in your back, you guys. And then maybe take a couple deep breaths here. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath out. 1, 2, 3. And maybe on our next breath in, maybe we move our hands, walk our hands over to the left side for a moment. There you go, Angie. And then breathe out, come back to the center of the mat. And now go to the other side on your next breath. Does that feel good, Angie? Angie says it feels good. So if she says it, then it must be true, right? Now, the second part of hermit crab huddle. It's gonna be easier than this, but let me show you this model hermit crab first so you kind of get an idea who we're emulating, right? So hermit crabs, they will stick their head out and their little arms, but if they get scared, they go back into their shell. So we are gonna move our hands behind us, and that is when the hermit crab is hiding, right? That is hermit crab taking shelter. Thank you for that, Angie. The cool thing about hermit crabs is that they don't grow their own shell. They actually have to find it out in the ocean. So they're always on the hunt for a new shell, a new home, right? Next pose, Angie, we are going to start by laying down on our backs. So sit up, shift over, sit on your butt and lay down flat. This is the important part. You want your back to be flat against the mat. And we are going to be doing barnacle leg kicks. Now let me show you a picture of barnacles first. They're pretty common, so if you've been to a beach before, you've probably seen them. They're not pretty. In fact, they might be one of the more ugly animals here, right? But they're still really important, and they're actually pretty cool once you get to learn about them. Barnacles have their heads attached to the rock, so you want to make sure your head is laying down nice and flat. But how do they eat? Well, a barnacle catches food with their legs. So that is what Angie's going to be doing for us here. Pick up one leg and then shift to the other. You're going to really want to focus on your deep breathing right now. Whew. Is it a bit of a workout, Angie? It is, but she's a good sport about it. Let's do 3 breaths worth of barnacle kicks here. So what barnacles actually do is they kick their feet out when they're underwater, and their little feathery legs collect little bits of food for them in the water. Okay. Now I don't want you guys to pull any muscles too soon. So now we're going to go over to an easier pose. This one's less of a workout, but it is a really good stretch. And that is the harbor seal pose. So Angie's going to get onto her stomach. I'm going to show a picture first of how of our inspiration, right? A little harbor seal resting on an exposed rock, right? This is what we're going to be practicing. So you want to be on your stomach, bring your palms to your shoulders and have your palms down, and then slowly raise yourself up and look to one side, look to the other side. And as you do this, remember to do those deep breaths with your movements. The thing about harbor seals is they swim really well in water. They're very comfortable in water. On land, not so much. Their flippers don't help them as much. So they're more uncomfortable on land, especially if they think there might be a threat. Which is why it's important for us to always keep an eye out for those scared harbor seals, right? We don't want to terrify them. Next, we are going to be doing dolphin pose. Let's look at our inspiration first, which obviously we can't exactly do what a dolphin does, because I don't know if you've ever tried it before, but jumping out of water like in this shape is kind of impossible for most people. But we're going to do the next best thing. So Angie, we're going to start by moving your feet, putting your toes right flat on the mat, getting your arms ready to push yourself up, and then there you go. And then you're going to move inwards and kind of make a tent with your body. Remember, you want to, like, basically, you want to be pointing your butt straight up in the air. Angie's doing a good job making her dolphin pose. And remember, let's take a couple deep breaths here. Deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. If you need a little bit of help, maybe this position's uncomfortable for you, you can bend your feet a little bit, especially if it's, you know, early in the morning, you need to wake up your legs. But this is a really good position because it's going to really help get your blood flowing to your head and down to your hands. Okay, how do you feel about this position, Angie? Good? Awesome. Next pose. You're going to want to stand back up, Angie. Put your feet together and bend over all the way. Now let your arms way down and dangle. This is the octopus pose. And octopi have 8 legs. Why don't we take a moment to imagine what it must be like to have that many legs flowing under us, right? By doing this pose, we can kind of imagine that we have like 4 legs, right? And we can kind of sway a little bit so we get the feeling of what it must be like to be an octopus. Okay, next position, Angie. Are you ready? Okay, this one is in many ways the easiest one. Please sit back down on the mat, lay flat, completely flat. Put your arms out at your sides slightly. Thank you very much. And that's it. You just relax. The sea sponge is one of my favorite poses because sea sponges, they don't really move around in life. They're one of the most simplest animals that we have in our tide pool. And that is why sometimes it's important to take inspiration from a sea sponge, right? They just chill out. Sometimes we need to just chill out too. Just take a breather. Okay, Angie, how do you feel? Do you think you remember all those poses? It's a little hard, huh? Yeah. Well, let's try and do a refresher. Why don't we do, I'm going to name some poses for you, and you try to get into the pose. Does that sound good, Angie? Okay. So let me look at what we've done before. How about the anemone pose? Let's think. She's got to think for a moment. See if you can beat Angie. Do you have a better memory than Angie? I don't think that's right. I think she's got it. Correct. And now what's so important? Yes, our breathing here. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm impressed, Angie. I didn't know if you were going to get that pose. What about seaweed sway. Put your arms up, sway back and forth. Can you sway really fast for me, Angie? Can you sway really slow for me? So relaxing, right? Let's just close our eyes for a moment. Imagine we're a little seaweed floating around. In case you guys don't know, this is one of my favorite things, the seaweed sway. I did it last night and I instantly felt better. Okay, let's see. What about barnacle kicks? Okay, I think she's got it. I think she's got it. There she goes. She has it. Barnacle kicks might be one of the more exercise type poses we have here, right? Good job, Angie. Let's see another one. Why don't we do the pelican balance? Good job, Angie. Make it more complicated, Angie. And what's an easy way to do this one, Angie? Do an easy version. Good job. Okay. Let's see, what other one have I not tested you on yet? Oh, the hermit crab. Do you remember hermit crab? No, hermit crab. So we have two crabs. Okay, we got like a kelp crab and we have a hermit crab pose. So if you're doing the hermit crab pose, there you go. Stretch out. Let's do a couple breaths here. Deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. Wiggle those fingers, wiggle the toes. Very good. Let's see, what am I missing? Oh, I know. Angie, I'm going to have you do the tunicate pose. Think it through. I know you got it, Angie. Yes, standing nice, straight and tall. Your palms are together. Perfect. And am I missing one? Oh, yeah. Do the kelp crab pose, not the hermit crab pose. And now take a bite out of the seaweed. Take another bite. There you go. Okay, so I think, oh, actually, I remembered when we forgot. Octopus. Dangle down, be an octopus. Okay, good job. And I remembered one more, Angie. We need to do the ocean poses. So let's do ocean waves. Good, get that form right, bend down, stretch, breathe and stretch again. Let's do that a couple more times for people trying to get the hang of it. Stretch, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Oh, good job, Angie. Okay, Angie, how do you feel? I know we didn't practice this, so I'm going to do a fire round with you, okay? We're going to do it real fast. You feel ready? Okay, I kind of feel bad for putting Angie through this, but this is all part of the job, right? Okay, pelican balance, seaweed sway, ocean waves, barnacle kicks, octopus dangle, sea star stretch, and hermit crab huddle. Oh, and then I forgot. You also have to do the anemone, opening and closing anemone. Good job, Angie. I'm impressed. Oh, one more sea sponge. You guys might have forgot about that one. The easy one, though. It's the easy one. It's her reward for getting the other ones right. Angie said that's her favorite. Okay. Angie, you passed the test. Our junior rangers at home, they passed too. I think we're ready. If you are still kind of uncomfortable with some of the poses, don't worry about it. You don't have to have it memorized the way Angie has it, because she's our leader. So she'll be doing it, so you can just copy her if you can't remember it. And now that we're all prepped and ready, and we know who all these animals are, we kind of know a little bit about them, we're going to put these poses into a story that we can all follow along. On a nice sunny day, the ocean waves were crashing overhead, and underwater there was a long brown seaweed swaying back and forth. So start swaying, Angie. A big breeze flew by and moved some of the ocean air, so you sway a little bit faster. The wind went away now. You can calm down a little bit. You're just a happy little seaweed floating around in the ocean. You may not know this, you guys, but seaweed is actually really important for us. We use it in things like our toothpaste. It's used to thicken up some foods. And I mean, also we use it for sushi too. So now let's close our eyes for a moment and get into the ocean tides pose. So this one's a bit more complicated. You're going to get into that lunge position. And the water is starting to go back. So reach out, but then when you reach back, make sure every time you do it, you're really stretching those arms back. Okay, now back forward. Take your deep breath. Now go reach back. The waves keep going further out. Let's do that like 3 more times, Angie. Oh, Angie's shaking it up a little bit. She's going further down. You're welcome to try that if you're brave like Angie is. Good job. Now, an octopus in the water senses his home is about to change. Angie, please get into octopus pose. For octopus pose, remember, we're going to start straight and then bend over, and then finally release your head and arms down, allowing them to dangle as if you were an octopus in the ocean. This octopus, he's been here a while, and he knows that the waves are kind of changing a little bit and the water is going to go out soon. So he's moving his tentacles and he's going to try and find some shelter before his tide pool is exposed to the sunlight. Now step your feet back. There you go. Yep. So follow Angie's lead, step back like that, and we're going to try and go down, like going down in a push-up. So you can go down fast, you can go down slow. Angie will demonstrate. You can also do it on your knees if you need a little bit of help. Personally, for me, I need the knees. That's why Angie's doing the demonstration. So try to lower your body slowly to the ground. Good job. Next, Once the water goes down, like how we just done, a harbor seal sees an exposed rock. And he comes over and he jumps on that rock and he's looking around to make sure there's no people, no threats around him. He's going to sunbathe here for a moment. So let's do some deep stretches here. It should feel really nice and good. Maybe go down and then come back up again, like a harbor seal would. Down and up again. Awesome. Now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Something really exciting happens near the tide pool today. This isn't a tide pool animal necessarily, but you can see them from our tide pools sometimes. It is a dolphin. A dolphin comes by. So we are going to get into our dolphin pose, which, as you remember, is the one where we make like kind of like a little tent with our bodies. So now we are being a happy dolphin. A dolphin is leaping overhead. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you need to. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Shake your head side to side. And let's do up and down too, like a little yes and no action there. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can try lifting one leg off the ground. And if you're a gymnast, which Angie is not, but you can lift 2 legs off the ground, but I wouldn't recommend that. Let's stick with the 1 leg off. And now you can lower your leg. To be fair to both legs, yeah, let's lift up the other leg. Give it a nice stretch also. It doesn't want to be neglected. Okay, put that leg back down. And now we're going to go back into the lowering water. So we're going to do that push-up, lowering back down again. Now, Angie, you're going to roll over onto your back. The barnacles, they still know that there's a little bit of water around them. So they're going to be kicking their feet out, trying to catch some food. Kick your feet out, Angie. Catch the food. I'm not gonna go easy on you. You guys got to kick your feet for a little bit here. As you kick your feet out, you'll notice Angie's pointing her feet. If you think you're up to it, you can try that. Remember, here's a picture of our inspiration, right? Our little barnacles stuck to the rock, but still catching food any way that they can. Good job, Angie. You can either kick your feet out slowly or do it really fast, but that one would probably be more of a workout. Okay. Now, Angie, you can give yourself a little rest. Oh, you deserve it, right? Now, roll on to your stomach. We are now a little hermit crab looking for food, right? So bend your knees, sit on your feet, and stretch out your arms. The hermit crab is looking for food. He's going to search from his right side to his left side. Remember to take deep breaths. Go back to the other side. Let's do a deep breath here for a moment. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good job. Go back to center. Wiggle your fingers a little bit. Wiggle your toes a little bit. Good job. Uh-oh, you guys. A crazy toddler just showed up. They want to pick up all the animals in the tide pool. They're trying to collect the shells, even though the hermit crabs need them. Hermit crab knows something's up. Hermit crab brings back her arms. She is going to be sheltered hermit crab right now. Let's wait here. Let's close our eyes for a moment and just take some deep breaths as we wait for the crazy toddler to leave the tide pool. Good. A parent showed up. The threat has left. The kid is learning how to not pick up the seashells, but just appreciate them. And the hermit crab slowly begins to crawl back out. So follow Angie's lead here. Slowly come back out. Good job, Angie. Oh, hermit crab was scared for a moment, but now she's comfortable again. Okay, next. Angie, you're gonna sit up in cross-legged position. In case you haven't guessed it, you guys, we're gonna be doing our anemones now. So the anemones look like beautiful sea flowers, and they're gonna open up and close depending on what the waves are doing at that time. So let's practice being an anemone for a moment. Breathe in and open up. Breathe out to go back. Do it a couple times, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Keep doing it. Remember, you guys, anemones rely on their tentacles to catch passing food particles. Try to stretch your fingers as much as possible as you do this pose. Do you feel like an anemone yet? She does. She's channeling her inner anemone. Good job. Okay, Angie, we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're going to get into tunicate pose. So I realize you guys might not be familiar with a tunicate, so I'm going to show you a picture of one. Okay, this is a tunicate. You might not even think that's an animal, but they actually attach themselves at the bottom to seaweed, and then they'll just kind of hang around with the seaweed and try to catch floating food that goes by. So now Angie is in her tunicate pose. You good tunicate? Wiggle your toes, show us that you're firmly attached. Good job. And now a crab, a kelp crab comes by the tunicate. He's looking for some food. See how low you can make your wide squat. So get into a wide squat. It's not a contest to get like as low as you can, but it's good to try to push yourself a little bit. Crabs have to use their claws to grab for food and defend themselves. Let's show our claw arms. And if you really want to feel like that stretch in front of your shoulders, right? Now act like a crab and reach out and grab something with your claw. What did you grab, Angie? What are you guys thinking you're grabbing at home? Maybe a little fish getting too close to you? Maybe a ranger who's sticking her finger near you, you want her to back off? Or maybe you're like Angie here, you're grabbing some seaweed. But now the crab has to hide because a pelican just showed up. And he means business. So get into pelican pose. Oh, Angie got a little mixed up there for a moment. So pelicans will kind of just chill out by the tide pools, looking for any animal that's not cautious enough and lets themselves get spotted. I'm going to show you guys a quick picture of our pelicans here. They're pretty big birds, right? And they'll hang out by the tide pools, keeping an eye out for any animals to eat. So Angie is doing one of our variations of pelican pose. Angie, can you go through a couple of the poses? There you go. Yeah, so there's a lot of options you can do with pelican pose. Thank you, Angie. And let's see, what should our next animal be? Uh-oh, you guys, the high tide is coming back and the waves are gonna get higher and higher. Angie is getting into her ocean wave pose again. And now she's kind of going the opposite way now. See if you can figure out how to do that. Just like kind of shift your legs, face the other way. And she's stretching. Remember to take those deep breaths as you move. And every time you do it, try to stretch a little bit farther because we have to make more movement every time we do it because that's what the waves are doing. They're coming back stronger and stronger every time. Let's do that for a little bit. Okay, now get back into tunicate pose. Remember that one? That one you're standing up nice and straight, palms together. Now lower half octopus pose, right? Octopus dangle, I should say, right? Let your head get heavy, let your arms get heavy, sway back and forth, feel those octopus tentacles. Now wake up your arms again, you're gonna lower down. This is gonna be like a push-up, it might be kind of hard. You can use your knees if you need to. Lower down, take a deep breath here. And now we're gonna do harbor seal. The harbor seal looks around. Hey, he says, you know, the water's coming back up. My rock's gonna be underwater soon. So he's figuring he's probably gonna have to leave his napping spot soon. But that's okay, because the dolphin just swam by. So we're gonna get back up into dolphin pose. Keep your feet there on the ground. Maybe bend your knees a little bit back and forth. Try to warm up. And let's spice it up a little bit. Let's raise one leg. Oh, good job, Angie. That was a good pose. Okay, so then put that leg back down. Switch to the next leg. Put that leg back down. That was good. Now lower yourself down to the ground again. You can use your knees. And we're gonna lay down flat on our back. Because through all this craziness, all this waves going in and out, crab coming by, trying to get food, dolphins swimming by, guess who was just doing nothing? The sea sponge, that's right. And I'm gonna show you guys a picture of a sea sponge, so you guys don't think it's like SpongeBob SquarePants, right? The sea sponge is just, it's these orange parts. It doesn't even really look like anything, but they kind of grow in little clumps, and they don't move, they just hang out in their spot. So we're gonna be like a sea sponge now. Channel your inner sea sponge. Close your eyes. You have to close your eyes here because sponges, they don't have any eyes. So close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Let's do a body check. Angie, are your toes completely relaxed? How about your knees? Are you clenching your knees? Now keep them nice and relaxed. And how about your fingers? Are they relaxed? And then finally, you want to look at your face. Is your jaw, are you clenching your teeth together? Are you frowning or anything? Just completely relax every muscle in your body. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Thank you, Angie. Sit back up. Hopefully that story helped you feel a little bit more connected to Carpinteria State Beach. We don't have a lot of time left, but let's quickly test our knowledge. Just a couple questions. Angie, can you get into the pose of the animal that captures food with its legs? Can you do it? That's right, that's the barnacle. The barnacle catches food as it goes by with his feathery legs. Angie, what animal doesn't move? They just kind of chill there. That's the anemone, and the anemone, I mean, he moves his tentacles. What one does absolutely nothing? She's got it now. She's got it now. Her favorite pose. How could you forget your favorite pose, Angie? What is not an animal, but it grows in the ocean, and we use it to make food sometimes. Seaweed sway. Good job. Good job, Angie. What animal has 8 tentacles? I think she's got it. No, you're getting close though. 8 tentacles. Yeah, she's got it now. The octopus dangle, you guys. Do the octopus dangle for a moment. And let's see, let's wrap it up with one last one. How about the original inspiration for it all? What animal can regrow its limbs, Angie? Oh, you got it. You got it. So that's right. A sea star can regrow one of its little legs if it loses one, but it can take like about a year to regrow it. So thank you, Angie. You were great. Round of applause for Angie, you guys. She's a good sport. Let me turn the camera back around on me. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed our tide pool yoga today. We had a lot of fun doing it. And be sure to be on the lookout for a survey after the program that will help you get your Junior Ranger badge. And yeah, thank you guys so much. We had a blast doing it. Oh yeah, maybe in the future we'll do a part 2 with like harder poses. This is like a beginning pose one, but you can work your way up to some harder, more difficult poses. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We had a blast. I hope you did too. I hope you kind of got some movement in your day, start your day off right. And we'll see you around. Have a good rest of your time and enjoy the other Junior Ranger programs next week. Bye.